Hey boy, you wanna play fetch?
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
I need that money.
I still got the ball, you dumb dog.
Oh.
Hello Spider-Man fans, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Spider-Man No Way Home is less than 2 weeks away. I still can't believe how close we are to this damn movie with all the hype we've built up for it. Your boy already found out when he's gonna be watching the movie, and oh, I can't wait to bring you guys an early review. But until then, let's continue on the hype train and talk about some things that have been officially released. Because now that we're so close to the movie, there's no point talking about spoilers, but we can at least talk about the things Sony wants us to see. And what we have here is there was currently a Comic-Con that went on in Brazil. Sony decided to attend and have a panel there where they went ahead and revealed a whole bunch of details on their upcoming movies. Not only did they give us a trailer for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I already went ahead and did a trailer breakdown for. I'll link it in the description, and I was able to find 2 hidden spider people in that trailer, so I suggest you guys check that out. We also got some stuff with Morbius that surprisingly was actually pretty cool. And of course, my favorite thing is a 9-minute panel with the villains of Spider-Man No Way Home, Doc Ock, Electro, and Green Goblin, basically giving us some details about the movie. I'm going to be breaking down all of that here for you guys, but I'm going to need your guys' opinions down below. What did you think of this villain panel? Any final theories and thoughts on what they have to say here, along with some of the newer snippets of footage that we have? Either way, just happy to see your faces here. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button. So let's just go ahead and start. Just quickly talking about some of the Morbius news that dropped, because it was some hefty stuff. Not only did we get reports that Michael Keaton will be shooting more scenes for the movie, which I think is kind of surprising, being that this movie was almost supposed to release a couple months ago, and just now they want to add more scenes of the Vulture. We were also treated to this poster for Morbius, which it looks like Sony just wanted to give all their poster budget to Morbius instead of Spider-Man No Way Home, because so far I think this is pretty good. They also went ahead and released a 3-minute clip from the movie, kind of giving you an idea of what you can expect. And I gotta tell you, I'm actually pretty impressed with some of the action sequences they were showing in this scene. I think Morbius in action looks pretty dope. I'm excited to see this movie, but not as excited as I am just to find out all these Spider-Man connections in the film. And final thing with Morbius here is there was a bit of a featurette that was released where Jared Leto basically straight up confirms Tom Holland will eventually be getting his own version of the Sinister Six.
If you've seen the last Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, you know the multiverse has officially opened. And there's all kinds of opportunities for villains to meet up, thrive, and maybe even nurture their more sinister intent.
Alright, now moving on to the stuff that was really exciting for me is, yes, this 9-minute video that is just basically Willem Dafoe, Alfred, Molina, and Jamie Foxx sitting down and answering some questions about Spider-Man No Way Home. And look, I am going to break down some of these details and speculate on it for you, but if you have the time, I recommend you watch this video yourself, because it will just bring such a big dumb smile to your face. Like, these 3 guys sitting together just have unbelievable chemistry. I cannot tell you how happy that interview made me. One funny part I caught is Jamie Foxx is on his phone for a second, and Green Goblin, as the leader of the Sinister Six, was like, son.
What excited you most about returning to Spider-Man franchise and reprising this iconic...
Now, before going into the specific details revealed in this interview, we did have Tom Holland introduce them, and Sony is just making Tom Holland say lines that we know are messing with the audience, because he says this.
So throw your fan theories out the window. They're probably not true, or are they?
We know what fan theories are correct. Along with that, at the very beginning of here, we get a couple extra seconds of footage that we hadn't seen before of Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin in his second suit that he'll be wearing in this movie that'll be more battle damaged. I really like this shot of him holding the pumpkin bomb, about to throw it, to then whatever this meme-worthy wacky face is. Like, this is what happens when you bring back Sam Raimi characters into modern era. They become memes again. But this just goes to show you, Willem Dafoe, as much as I love you, man, you don't need a mask to be Green Goblin. You're doing it perfectly fine. I'm really gonna want to see how this scene plays out and how exactly they describe him having this battle damaged suit. If he just gets beat up badly by Spider-Man in the beginning of the movie, and then just later on this is what he's wearing. And I know the lighting's kind of bad from this frame, but it said that his scarf is purple, and you could obviously tell that that is his original Green Goblin suit there that we've kind of already seen leaked photos of. But from there in the actual interview, the first question they were asked is, what do you excited for in this movie. Jamie Foxx, who plays Electro, was one of the first ones to respond, and you'll notice a pattern when he's talking in this interview. He loves bringing up the fact that he's no longer blue in this movie. He elaborates a little further on that in the next question, but I just thought that was funny. Willem Dafoe was very honest with his answers, and he thought that the idea for Spider-Man No Way Home sounded very nutty. But even with the idea of it sounding a little weird to him, he liked the story that they had in mind, how they bring him back to life. But most importantly is the fact that this version of the Green Goblin, even though it's the same one we remember from the Sam Raimi universe, he says there's something different about him, or there's a new spin on the character that made him really interested to return. That's what I'm really curious about.
I like the idea that I was returning to something that was same but different. The spin, there's a spin on it. And that appealed to me.
I also loved Alfred Molina's answer to why he wanted to come back for the movie.
Alfred?
For me, it's just about the money.
Man's a legend. The next question they were asked is how did they feel about their costumes this time around in the movie? Now this is where things got really exciting with Willem Dafoe, because although he started answering the question by saying how uncomfortable the costumes are, he basically tiptoes the line of getting shot by Kevin Feige and his sniper, where he wants to reveal a little spoiler.
Also, I don't know how much we want to fool with spoilers, but
not actually revealing too much, but saying that this time around his goblin costume has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and it's definitely upgraded this time around. And again, I'm just hella curious to how they're gonna explain that, because from what we're seeing is at one point in this movie, it's the classic goblin costume that we saw from the first Sam Raimi movie, and then it looks like it's gonna take a beating from Spider-Man, but even after that beating, that is still considered the upgraded suit. I have to imagine it's at one point in the movie where all the villains meet up at a Stark Tower or some location where there's Stark technology, and then that's where Electro gets his arc reactor, and then Willem Dafoe, being a scientist, repurposes a lot of Iron Man tech to be his own Goblin tech, and maybe that's what he's talking about here. But the Goblin having a few tricks up his sleeve in his costume, that sounds fun. And speaking of Jamie Foxx and his change in look, here's where he elaborated further on the fact that he's really happy he's no longer blue.
I'm happy we got a brand new start, a brand new look. The blue, when we did it the first time, it was look, man, I didn't care. I was just happy to be in this wonderful chorus. But with this new is fly. The homies is like, okay, we get you now. You know, when I was blue, they still roll with me. But okay, you blue.
From there, they were asked what their favorite part about being a villain was, and I thought Alfred Molina's choice of words were really interesting, because he almost did the Tom Holland thing where he revealed something and then he caught himself, to where he was specifically talking about he likes the fact that his villains, or at least the villains in the MCU, don't always just start out as bad guys. Sometimes they're good people who went through accidents or tragedies that turned them bad, and that would be Dr. Octopus in his case. But it's here specifically where he stops himself from saying something.
We would just be there to, get the plot going. But here we've got real storylines. We've got where they are real people.
If you notice, he was about to say that these characters have a backstory. And I think the reason he stopped himself from saying that is because he's not allowed to reveal that these are the exact same characters from the previous Spider-Man worlds that still retain their backstories. You would think it'd be pretty obvious by now, but with Marvel, you never know. They could Ralph Boner us and want to do something different. And so the fact that he says he likes that his characters have this backstory lets us know he's probably gonna go good again and not be a pure villain this time around, which I think will make for an interesting watch. And then when we jump to Willem Dafoe and his answer, I found it so fascinating.
Green Goblin has a case to state this time.
Yeah.
He's trying to make his case. A philosophy of life. It's not just about some kind of abstract muscle twirling power grab. It's about...
Are you suggesting I'm a mustache twirling power grab? Now look here, I'm classically trained.
Even the way Jamie Foxx was just kind of nodding his head and knowing exactly what Willem Dafoe meant by explaining his new motive in the movie, I'm like, man, what is Green Goblin up to? This idea that the Goblin now has a new philosophy on life, that probably meaning that he knows he lost his life once in the Tobey Maguire world, and now that he has this second chance, he's like, yo, I'm gonna do everything I can to keep it and stay alive in this world now. Plus, when you pair that up with the final question they were asked, where the interviewers basically said, who do you think is the scariest villain? And Jamie Foxx's Electro did not hesitate to start praising Green Goblin, saying that although he feels his character as Electro is a badass and is scary, he's more mad at the world, which does kind of fall in line with his Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2, where everybody his entire life pushed him around, to then where the reason he thinks Green Goblin is the scarier villain is because he thinks whatever the Goblin is doing to Peter Parker in this movie, it's personal.
But now a tricky one. Which villain is the most terrifying?
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy because, like I said, we've just been watching Willem, and it seems personal. because with Electro, it's like Electro and us. It's to the world. The world did me wrong.
And when things get personal, they can get very tragic super fast, and that's what we've been hearing about this movie. This Peter is gonna suffer some real damn consequences. And I think it might be Green Goblin that's teaching him that lesson. But that's all we got from those interviews and that Brazilian Comic-Con. I'm gonna throw it off to you, Spider-Man fans. What do you think of all these details here? What super excites you? What theories can you come up and speculate? Anything and everything, you let me know down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.